Preston 11th in the Championship, but having made 7 changes for this one, Tottenham, and with Preston with 2 big players back in Ched Evans and Ben Whiteman in midfield for them. Evans, their top scorer, leading the line alongside Everton loanee Tom Cannon. Will Preston feel they've got a chance tonight?
Yeah, I think with all the changes they've made, I do believe that they'll come into this game very confident, looking at the team sheet. Still a very good Tottenham team, don't get us wrong, but Preston will take a lot of belief looking at that team sheet.
So here we go, we're off and underway. Preston playing in the famous white shirts, navy shorts and banded navy and white socks. Tottenham in their changed third strip, an all teal affair, and it's Preston North End in possession, playing from right to left in this first half, and they win a throw on this left-hand side. The experienced former Premier League player Robbie Brady takes it, cleared away by Tottenham at the back, and met by the head of Andrew Hughes, one of Preston's key players this season, such an integral part of that back line as Preston, lovely back heel from Brady, working it down the left-hand side, played in field to Ledson, ball into the penalty area, looking for the Everton loanee Tom Cannon, making his FA Cup debut today. It's cleared away by Tottenham over halfway. Chris Waddle.
Well, I'm just looking at it. Perisic is actually playing centre forward, Harry Kane's role. Son's playing on the left, Kulonetsky's on the right-hand side, and obviously normal 3 at the back with Tottenham, as they normally do. But yeah, so he's went with Perisic as the number 9.
Yeah, interesting lineup this, as Tottenham play it back into their own penalty area. The 7 changes we mentioned, Kane is on the bench, as is Danjuma, who arrived this week. There's no Richarlison, he's got a minor injury, so wasn't risked for this one. But as Bentancur has possession midway through the Tottenham half, yes, as Chris says, it's Perisic through the middle, Son left, Kulusevski right. We'll take you through the full lineups in a moment as Son picks up possession and sends it back midway through his own half, and now out to this right-hand side, and Jaffa Tanganga of Tottenham as they work it over the halfway line, and Tanganga will pick it up on the halfway line once more. So Preston have gone full strength. Woodman in goal, the former Newcastle youngster. The back 3 of Story, Lindsay and Hughes. Ahead of them it's Brown, the captain, who usually plays in central midfield but has been filling in at right wing back of late for them. Ali McCann, Ryan Ledson, Ben Whiteman and Robbie Brady, with Ched Evans and Tom Cannon up front, as Tottenham still have possession inside their own half. So Spurs completely changed goalkeeper and back 3. So Forster in goal, the back 3 of Tanganga, Sanchez, who's captaining the side tonight, and Longley. Ahead of them it's Doherty, Basuma, Bentancur and Sessegnon, with Kulusevski, Perisic and Son up front. Tottenham still in possession midway through their own half, 0-0.
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, Preston have got an unbelievable away record in the Championship, haven't they? By sitting back and hitting teams on the break. But when they come here, they try and play the same game. And unfortunately, teams are doing that to Preston. So they've got to find a way of pressing teams higher up the field when they're at home and making more pressure. They've just won a free kick there. But if you look, as soon as they lose the ball, they retreat very deep. And Tottenham will be quite happy with that. They'll just play possession and wait for the opportunity.
So free kick to Preston midway through their own half. Yes, Chris touched on the home form there. Preston have been brilliant away from home this season. At home, they've really struggled. Just 4 victories here all campaign out of 15, and they've lost almost half of their home games this season. 7 of them in total, as Kulusevski picks it up for Tottenham on halfway. And it's what you touched on there, Chris. They're set up, even at home, to play like an away side, and particularly when Tottenham come to town, we're going to expect to see that. What can Tottenham do down this right-hand side, with Tanganga pulls it back into Bentancur, central position, 30 yards out, lays it off for the arriving Longley, who stepped up from the back as the cross is lifted in from the left-hand side. Doherty went for the header. It was beaten in the air by Brady. It's behind for a Tottenham corner.
It's just too easy for Tottenham. You know, they've picked the ball up probably 30-40 yards from their own goal, Tottenham in Tottenham's half, and they've got a corner out of this, which was so easy. There's no pressure on the ball. As high as they were passing it around, there was no pressure, and eventually Brady hands it out for a corner. They've got to find a way, Preston, of pressing the ball higher up the field and working as a unit, getting the ball back quicker.
Yeah, tough start this for Preston of the Championship. Good start by Tottenham of the Premier League. Corner is played short. Son and Perisic between them, and Son will now whip it in, headed away from 10 yards well by Robbie Brady. Elected by Tottenham to stop the Preston counter. Here is Kulusevski into a tight area, trying to find Tanganga, who is still up from the back there, and Tanganga has won it back 30 yards out for Tottenham, forced over to the left-hand side, laid off to Bentancur, pulls it back to Tanganga, tried to stab it back through to Bentancur, and Tanganga's been brought down there. It's a free kick to Tottenham, just shy of 30 yards out. 0-0 here on 5 Live.
Yeah, it was just a late challenge on Tanganga. He just overstretched it. His first touch wasn't the best. He stretched to get the ball. The Preston player just caught him in that last second. I don't think the referee was going to give it until a couple of Tottenham players put their arm up and appealed, and the referee changed his mind. But this is in a good position. I'm sure Son would fancy it at an area like this.
Well, it would have to be pretty special from Son Heung-min, but don't we know he is a player certainly capable of the spectacular. So Son is one of the players over it for Tottenham. Freddie Woodman stands orchestrating that Preston North End wall, which stands 4 strong just outside their own penalty area. Kulusevski is walking along the back of the wall. No draft excluded for Preston, as the referee is just making sure, Peter Banks, that the wall is the required 10 yards, so they're now back just inside the penalty area.
I think Perisic has got the vote on it. Son's gone and jogged into the wall. Obviously it's trying to stop the goalkeeper getting a clear view of it. Perisic really fancies this. He took a couple of minutes to line this up. He took his strides back and he's ready. What is he, 25 yards out, 4 on the wall.
So Perisic, it will be, who goes for goal. He drives it low, it ricochets inside the penalty area, and the shot is deflected wide from Kulusevski. Last-ditch defending from Liam Lindsay at the back there for Preston. It's a Tottenham corner.
Yeah, they got in each other's way, didn't they? Unfortunately, Kulusevski and Son wanted to get it. Lindsay interrupts it and just basically blocks it, and it goes away for a corner on that left-hand side.
He's another who's had an outstanding season for Preston. Liam Lindsay signed a new deal last month as Tottenham once again take the corner short over on that left-hand side. Goalless here on 5 Live in the FA Cup 4th round. Here is Sessegnon as Tottenham go all the way back to just outside the centre circle. And now Basuma plays it forward. Bentancur will drive, almost ricochets inside the penalty area. Cleared away by Preston up towards halfway. But as Chris Waddle touched on, they're so deep, Preston. This is only going to come straight back at them.
You know, it's strange that they're actually playing 2 up front, but if you look at the rest, the back 5's playing as a 5, the 3 in midfield are basically, 5 to 10 yards ahead of them. 2 strikers have dropped right back in, and they're letting Tottenham basically do what they want. And, you know, at home, it's a cup tie, it's a one-off really, you know, for the fans to turn up to full out. Go and have a go. That's what they wanted to see.
Tanganga controls the ball on halfway and sends it out to the right-hand side, and Kulusevski midway through the Preston half, forward now to Doherty. Nice little touch to take him past Hughes, but can't get past Robbie Brady. He slides in and wins the challenge. It's out for a Tottenham throw. Again, Chris Waddle's gesturing with his pen. Too easy, Chris. Is that what that gesture means?
Tottenham can't believe, probably, you know, full house. And a lot of people thought 7 changes, Tottenham don't fancy it, maybe, whatever. I mean, this has been so easy for Tottenham in the first few minutes. It's, I mean, Preston have won it back. Now they've all got to get up the field and they can't.
Good play over on the far side, but good pressure by Ryan Sessegnon, who initially lost the ball for Tottenham. Preston will clear over halfway, and Doherty will see it bounce out on the halfway line, ready to take this throw for Tottenham. A reminder, you can watch this match on BBC One as well, live coverage. I'm Mowbray, leading the commentary with Alan Shearer, or Chris and I. Delighted to have your company here with us on 5 Live. Perhaps you've been to an FA Cup match this afternoon, games of course across the Football League as well. Do stay with us here on 5 Live, because the FA Cup action doesn't stop. Here at Deepdale, 0-0 between Preston and Tottenham, and coming up, Manchester United against Reading from 8 o'clock with Conor McNamara and Leon Osman at Old Trafford. Preston have a free kick just inside their own half, and the referee Peter Banks says as they tried to take it relatively quickly, the ball was moving, so it will be sent back. But this is the challenge, isn't it, for Preston? It's always a challenge if you're a championship side hosting a Premier League side, even though they might make changes as Tottenham have, 7 of them. But if you're set up, and you've been criticised by some fans for being defensive at home, you can't switch that, particularly against an opponent that's going to provide a greater test than the one you tend to face week in, week out.
I think the understanding of the word we're probably looking at is respect, and I understand that. It's Tottenham going to break. Here
goes Perisic down the left-hand side, did well to get the ball back into the penalty area, and Liam Lindsay's clearance almost fell to a waiting Son Heung-min. It's cleared away by Preston, and the captain Alan Brown looking to release Tom Cannon and the Everton loanee. Well anticipated by Fraser Forster, who comes and clears. And the ball is out of play for a Preston throw midway inside their own half. 9.5 minutes gone, we're goalless.
Well, that's a little bit better, more positive. A bit of pace injected there from the back. Ball down the side, Cannon showing his pace, but Forster reads the danger and clears it high up the field for a throw into Preston. But that's what they want to see. As soon as that ball went forward and there was a little bit of tempo about it, all the fans get behind them straight away, and they want to see more of that.
Now Ali McCann is just receiving a little bit of treatment here, so brief stoppage in play. Already in the FA Cup today, Southampton, Leicester, Leeds have made it through, Bristol City as well. 5 replays to take place in the 4th round already, including Fulham will face a trip to Sunderland. Had to come from behind. Fulham at Craven Cottage against Sunderland, who are flying high in the Championship, and League 2 Grimsby and themselves a replay after a 2-2 draw at Championship Luton. So Ali McCann has received treatments. He's just putting his shirt back on and making his way over to this near side in front of us as the mist once more just pools around the floodlights above us here at Deepdale. You can't help but come here and just almost taste the history that this stadium and this football club has soaked in.
It's a great club. It's as you say, it's the amount of history about it, but the stadium's wonderful, isn't it? And we were in the press ID hospitality bit before, which was they're all geared up really for if they went up. I don't think this, the stadium is great. It's everything's ready for them, but it's getting out that Championship.
Yeah, sitting mid-table at the moment, Preston 11th. And if they are to push for the playoffs in the remainder of the campaign, they've got to sort out the home form. What can they do at home this evening in the FA Cup against Tottenham? 11.5 minutes gone. It's goalless here on 5 Live, and Robbie Brady has a throw for Preston, deep in Preston territory. Can't make anything of it. He thinks he's going to get another one, Robbie Brady, but he's not. He has to leave it as Tottenham win that throw. And they prepare to take it with Matt Doherty. Harry Kane down there amongst the Tottenham substitutes. Level, of course, with the legendary Jimmy Greaves after scoring the winner. Fulham on Monday. Will he get a chance to take the record outright as Tottenham's leading goal scorer this evening? Ball cleared long out of play. Tanganga will allow the ball to bounce out, prepares to take the throw. We've talked about how Preston are setting up in their defensive, counter-attacking style that is so familiar to them. Tottenham, though, having made 7 changes, Chris, have started well.
Yeah, I think they've been allowed to, though. I thought the first 15-20 minutes Preston would have a right goal. All these changes unsettles the rhythm of the team. Go and have a goal first 15, put them under pressure, ask questions, turn them, get them high up the field, just see what happens for the first 10-15 minutes. They've actually come out, and Preston, you've got to say, have parked the bus really, and this for Tottenham, they're just growing in confidence. There's that much time and space.
They're moving the ball nicely, using that space. Here is Son, 25 yards out, couple of step overs, lays it back to Longley, who stepped up from centre half once again, and now Ryan Sessegnon on that left hand side exchanges passes with Basuma. Son wants it just outside the penalty area. They work it to Perisic, and then Sessegnon, very good defending inside the Preston North End penalty area by the captain Alan Brown. As Preston look to counter, but again, that's the second time they've tried this quick ball out to the left-hand side, and they're quite simply, Chris, there's nobody there because Brady is sitting so deep at left wing-back.
They actually are playing a 5 at the back. It's not 2 wing-backs as such. They actually are playing a 5 in a lane, more or less. 3 in midfield who are playing very deep. The 2 play very narrow. The 2 strikers play very narrow. So when Tottenham's back 3 split, they've got time on the right, time on the left to do what they want with the ball.
And they are on the left once again, goalless here on 5 Live as Son turns infield, driving towards the penalty area. Good challenge by Ali McCann, whose numbers disappeared after changing his shirt after receiving that little bit of treatment. But the number 13 still on his navy shorts as Tottenham win it back midway inside their own half. Goalless at Deepdale, and Preston having to soak up so much pressure at the moment. Ched Evans and Tom Cannon haven't got anywhere near the Tottenham penalty areas. The ball bounces all the way through. Easy collect for Freddie Woodman.
Yeah, Tanganga didn't need to play that ball. They've got that much time and space, Tottenham. If you've looked so far, they've got to the 18-yard box very, very easy by just playing simple give-and-go football. It's nothing special. They've just had the time to do that. And Tanganga goes for a long ball over the top, which he didn't need to do.
So clearance over halfway by Freddie Woodman for Preston, but Tottenham pick it up and it comes straight back at the Championship side. Good challenge to dispossess Ryan Sessegnon. Over on the far side as Perisic waits through the middle. Interesting, isn't it? When we saw the lineup, I mean, we were wondering who would play through the centre. I think Son was the agreed choice, as it were, inside the press box here at Deepdale. But as Chris Waddle says, it's Perisic playing through the centre, and he played in a wide position, but he played so much further forward for Croatia, didn't he, at the World Cup, and then has played a bit of both under Conte, first at Inter and now at Tottenham, but largely has been playing wing-back for Tottenham. But if you're going to push him further up and just put him central, you almost want to see what he can do out on the wing.
Well, we know he's very clever with the ball, and he's very good in the air, actually. You know, he wins a lot of headers, but we've always seen him on the wing wherever he's played, and it's strange that to see him down the middle as a sort of a number 9. But he's doing all right at the minute. His movement's excellent.
Yep, certainly giving Preston something to think about, and Tottenham are moving the ball beautifully in triangles. The Son curls one, and Woodman was going one way, had to readjust and go to his left and dive low. It's a good save, and the Preston goalkeeper holds on to it as well. Yeah,
Perisic rolls it to Son, and I think Woodman there actually thinks he's gone for that top corner, and he starts moving before he hits it. The way he shapes his body up to strike at Son, and he nearly caught him out. There was a lot of swerve on that ball, went the other way. He just corrected himself and got down and saved it. But at the minute, this is very, very comfortable for Tottenham.
Preston trying to make it a little less comfortable, but Tom Cannon, on loan from Everton, is dispossessed just outside the Tottenham penalty area, and Tottenham go back to Davinson Sanchez, who plays it out to the right-hand side, and Matt Doherty. 0-0 here on 5 Live. Commentary of Manchester United against Reading coming up from 8 o'clock this evening, rounding off our FA Cup coverage for today. Tomorrow we have Brighton against Liverpool for you, and Wrexham against Sheffield United. Will there be a Hollywood fairy tale at Wrexham? Commentary following our commentary from Brighton against Liverpool. Here are Tottenham midway through the Preston half, still goalless here at Deepdale as Bentancur squares it to Ibasuma out to the left hand side. They go now as the ball is played into the penalty area. A little deflection and Woodman collects, can't prevent the ball from going out for a corner, and Tottenham once again will have a set piece.
I bet you Harry Kane's sitting in the dugout licking his lips thinking, please put me on. There's the amount of time and space they've got round the right up to the 18-yard line. It's unbelievable how Preston just do not really force it, never put any tempo to it. They let them bring them on, and I know they're trying to hit them on the break, but the way they're set up, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Well, they've gone short with the first 2 corners. Tottenham looks as though they've gone long with this one. Son Heung-min stands with his left arm in the air, now swings it in, powerfully headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Basuma's effort on the edge of the penalty area was blocked, and spins back out to Son on the left-hand side. Goalless here on 5 Live as Tottenham come once more down the left. Long they stayed up, they've got bodies in the penalty area, but Perisic can't get the cross in. Ball cleared away by Preston. Basuma can't keep hold of it, and now Preston can counter with Ched Evans over the halfway line. Cannon's racing through the centre. Evans just stops out on the right-hand side, and you can hear the groans from Deepdale, but then a lovely piece of skill. Finds Ali McCann, central position, 30 yards out. This is the most dangerous 18 minutes in that Preston have looked so far. Alan Brown, the captain, whips it in. Poor delivery into the penalty area, headed away by Tottenham, but will be picked up once more now by Robbie Brady, and out to the right-hand side, and Story, now Ledson. Ball into the penalty area, headed away by Tanganga on the edge of the box, but picked up once more by Brown, the Preston captain. His delivery again for the second time is poor, straight into the long reach of Fraser Forster.
That was a little bit better from Preston, a bit of tempo. Lovely nutmeg, Ched Evans on Bentancur. He can have that as a souvenir. I'm sure he'll have that taped, and he'll be showing that to everybody for the next so many years. But that was the first time we saw Preston actually up the tempo.
Yeah, the family will be rewinding on iPlayer as we speak. Lovely piece of skill from Ched Evans, who is Preston's top scorer this season with 6 goals. And that just shows that they have not been free-flowing when it comes to scoring so far. They are short up front in terms of options as well, as Davinson Sanchez has it on the edge of the centre circle. Such a boost to have Ben Whiteman back in midfield, but in terms of forwards, they don't have Liam Delap on loan from Manchester City, Troy Parrott on loan from Tottenham. Both of those are cup tied, still without other options as well in terms of Emil Rees, their forward. He's out with an ACL, so it was one of these as the ball goes out of play for a Preston throw midway through their own half. We did a lot more speculating about the Tottenham lineup before the teams are announced than the Preston North End one, because Tom Cannon and Ched Evans pretty much the only real striking pairing options that they've got at the moment, Preston.
Yeah, they're obviously a pair who haven't played a lot together, so that'll take time to gel. And as you say, Delap will probably come back into the next game in the league, so it's a little bit for whoever's getting left out. But this is a one-off tonight for them. Listen, go and have a go. You've got nothing to lose. You've got a free kick there just over the halfway line. You've got nothing to lose. I was expecting a little bit more. Brian Lowe's done a great job at Plymouth before he came here, and they played a similar way, and he got them into the top 5, top 6 in League One, and he's obviously brought that philosophy here, and apart from the home form, it's gone well.
So free kick to Preston, third of the way inside the Tottenham half. Davinson Sanchez committing the foul. They thought about taking a relatively quick one out to the right hand side, but instead they will line up those white shirts, Preston, amongst the teal ones of Tottenham, 10 yards or so outside the penalty area, looking for the runners into the box from this set piece. 0-0 here on 5 Live. It's looped in, it's high, it's looking for Liam Lindsay, who does win the header, and on the follow-up, a good effort by Andrew Hughes, charged down. It flashed across from Lindsay's header. He did well to catch it. It looked as though it may well have been on target, but well charged down by Tottenham, who managed to clear the ball away.
I'm just surprised. I think Conte will be disappointed how they win that header so easily, Preston. It's not a terrific ball in. It's just got a lot of hate on it. It's hanging in the area, and it's the Preston guy who heads it down. So Conte will not be happy with it. He's got 3 centre-halves here today who should be winning them balls.
Yeah, changing the entire back line, Tottenham. Just joining us, Tanganga, Sanchez and Longley. Fraser Forster in goal as well. 0-0 midway through the first half here on 5 Live. Here is Tanganga, plays it in field to Son, who looks for Perisic in return. Appeal of handball, it goes against Son, and Preston have a free kick. And for all of Tottenham's positive play, Chris, Freddie Woodman has had very little to do.
He's had one save, which you'd expect him to save from Son, didn't he? It's caught him off balance a little bit, but apart from that, Tottenham's had obviously probably 70-80% of possession, but they're getting up to that final third. That's why you need, you appreciate people like Harry Kane, because when you get in that final third, when he gets that ball around that area, which we've seen Tottenham have a lot, Perisic, Son, at the minute, who's had quite a lot of ball in that final third, you just don't see them scoring. Like when Harry Kane picks it up, you think goal.
Down the right hand side come Preston with their captain Alan Brown. Lets it go out for a throw. He will look for the option on the edge of the penalty area of Ched Evans, who's under pressure. A lovely bit of skill initially from Evans, and then the ball is cleared away forward by Preston, but out for a Tottenham goal kick. But he's looking bright, Evans.
Yeah, I was watching him in the warm-up. They were doing a possession drill, and he was excellent at it. I was watching him for a good 10 minutes, and his awareness and his first touch was excellent. But it's difficult when you go into a game and the rest of your players are 30-40 yards behind you. It's difficult.
Well, we mentioned his 6 goals, his top scoring record for Preston this season. They have all come in his last 8 games, so he is a man very much in form as Tottenham come down the left hand side. Tottenham, who are well on top in terms of possession and looking more threatening, as we say, have rarely seriously tested Freddie Woodman in the Preston goal, and that is why we are still goalless. Fraser Forster at the other end has been a virtual spectator, although Hughes has seen that effort blocked inside the Tottenham box. That Preston's best chance as Tottenham come down the left hand side. Here is Bissouma, plays it in field to Bentancur, central position. Tanganga joins the attack, and now Bentancur once again. The white shirts of Preston lined up outside their own box, and Tottenham are struggling to tease their way through with these passes. They have retained possession though. Here is Bissouma, plays it out to the left hand side, and now Sessegnon in field to Son. Tottenham are working this nicely, laid off to Bentancur, plays it forward again to Kulusevski, who's been quiet so far. Doherty has it now as they're forced out to the right hand side, and Preston are keeping their shape under a great deal of pressure well here. But what can Son do? Let's fly from distance, and that's a good save by Woodman. Might slightly have been one for the cameras, but it's behind. That's the main thing, and it's a Tottenham corner.
Well, you ever thought, would this attack finish for Tottenham? It must have been 20-30 passes, and it was who was going to pull the trigger. Again, outside the box. It's a shot, as you say. The goalkeeper should take. They took a quick short corner.
They've gone short again. Son to Kulusevski, run into the area from the Sweden international, but he just overran it. And Preston will clear away. Good defending by Robbie Brady. Clears it off Sanchez, and it's behind for a Preston goal kick.
See, Preston will be quite happy thinking, well, if you can put that in the top corner from 25-30 yards, that's what we're allowing you to do. It's working so far. You know, they've not got in front of goal. They've not really had a shot in the box yet, Tottenham. So the plan, which, you know, they've probably said, yeah, let Tottenham have the ball a lot. Don't worry about that. They're not really letting Tottenham have some good chances, proper chances, where, you know, something's across the box, a header. You know, it's been 2-3 long shots, and they'll be happy with that, Preston.
So Woodman takes this goal kick for Preston over the halfway line, and you mentioned how good that Perisic is in the air, Chris. He's not had those sort of deliveries that they would be putting in for Harry Kane.
It's strange when you play a Wade man up front. They either like to pull Wade and run the channels, or they like to come deep. You know, a goal scorer always hangs around the box, and you can see already Perisic wants to join in, Son wants to join in, Brunetsky wants to join in. There's nobody looking to think, I'll stay in the box, I'm going to look for something in that area. They all come out the box.
Former England and Tottenham winger Chris Waddle here with us on 5 Live. Lovely turn by Bentancur on the halfway line. Played it forward, looking for Son, but it's straight to Jordan Story, who goes all the way back to Woodman. Not sure he needed to do that turn, Bentancur. He seemed to be easing the space away, but thought, you know what, might as well.
Yeah, it was good. Well, he's just been nutmegged, so he's probably thought, I'm going to show something now. So, yeah, it was a lovely bit of skill.
Now, a load of balloons have just cascaded onto the pitch on the left-hand side. They looked as though, I mean, they can't have come from one of the dugouts, but that is the general direction from whence they came. We are stopping play, says Peter Banks, as the players just come over and stomp on those white balloons. And do you know what, from a Preston perspective, they've been so solid defensively, but the balloons coming on is almost one of the most exciting things that's happened in this half.
Well, for them, yes. There's more movement, and there were white balloons actually, so there you go. But no, I just think, you know, I always look at the FA Cup as a one-off game, and I know there's replays, don't get me wrong, but I always look at it, especially when you're playing a bigger team. You thought, you know, chance of a scalp, yeah, let's get the crowd going, let's get them going, let's cause some problems. And I mean, they're playing into Tottenham's hands, to be perfectly honest.
But it's still goalless. 27 minutes played in this first half here on 5 Live. Commentary from Old Trafford coming up at 8 o'clock. Manchester United against Reading as Preston lose possession with Alan Brown just outside the Tottenham penalty area, but they get a foot in and win it back, and that's nicely done by Ledson. The drive is watched over by Fraser Forster, and I think what we can apply to Tottenham's efforts at one end, Tottenham will say, well, if you want to shoot from there, give it a go. Why not? We can deal with that.
That's all it is at the minute, isn't it? Some nice football, especially like Tottenham, I've got to say, but when they get the last 25 yards, the only thing they've got in front of them is a shot, and we're waiting for a little bit of magic, a little bit of cleverness, or a cross. He has a ball in behind.
And Tottenham are chasing with Son, who won't keep it in, and the ball bounces out of play. In terms of the atmosphere at Deepdale, I mean, it's those sort of balls over the top that will give the home fans a bit of encouragement. And I think, to be honest, we talk about it being a one-off game, Chris. It's one of these where you'll put your frustration potentially with approach to one side. As long as it stays 0-0, the home form can almost be parked. And as long as you stay in the game and you look as though you might cause a few issues down the other end, as Ched Evans has on occasion, the crowd will stay with you.
Yeah, I think at the minute they are. I think they'll. I think there's more to come. You know, looking at it, why don't they leave Cannon really high against the last defender, because he's got pace, and say to Ched Evans, go and drop off a little bit and link the play. You come short, and when they do hit them on the break, they've got that pace with Cannon in behind. But you know, the way they're set up is they all come back and they all get close together, so they've not really carried a threat.
All over the top is cleared away at the back by Tottenham, and Chapa Tanganga sent forward looking for the run of Perisic, but well intercepted by Ledson and sent all the way back to Freddie Woodman, who clears the ball out to the right hand side. Nice control initially by Evans, but Tottenham get the foot in, and now it's with Doherty midway inside the Tottenham half. Goalless here, 29 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. As Davinson Sanchez sends it out to the left hand side, and Longley stops and checks. It's hard really to ask you to analyse this new look back three for Tottenham, because they haven't had too much to deal with as Preston pick up the ball on their edge of their own penalty area. Over the halfway line they go, and now Tom Cannon will chase, the Everton loanee, up against Davinson Sanchez, who gets a bit lucky there with the ricochet, sends it back to Forster, who clears well under pressure from Cannon up towards halfway. Well, Preston will pick it up with Alan Brown. Chris Waddle.
One about a nutmeg earlier, and Beckenbauer's little bit of skill. He didn't mean that, Sanchez, but that was the best bit of skill I've saw tonight. Turned
out all right on the night for Tottenham as Preston go back to Freddie.
It just shows you that a ball over the top there caused problems. You know, Cannon is willing to run down these channels.
Well, he's still looking for his first Preston goal, Tom Cannon, after arriving on loan from Everton earlier this month, as the ball is all the way back with Fraser Forster. Made his Everton debut this season, the 20-year-old, 3 substitute appearances. And there have been signs of that combination starting to work with Ched Evans, Preston's top scorer, as Tottenham come out to this right-hand side with Doherty. Harry Kane, of course, an option from the bench this evening. Richarlison, if you're just joining us, he's got a minor injury. It was one of those where, ahead of that news, a lot of people felt that this would be the perfect game for Richarlison, perhaps getting that first start since the quarter-final defeat with Brazil at the World Cup, having returned from injury as Preston pick up possession. Tom Cannon just overruns it and it's cleared away by Longley up towards Sessegnon on the left-hand side. Here comes Tottenham with Son evading those scraps of white balloons that are still dotting the pitch despite having been exploded as Perisic plays it forward, flag goes up as Sessegnon breaks into the area and the ball is through anyway with Freddie Woodman.
Yeah, we just saw a couple of minutes there, didn't we? Preston had a promising attack, Cannon overruns it and then Tottenham intercept as Preston get up the field. There's a little bit of space Tottenham found, but unfortunately Perisic runs offside.
FA Cup coverage continues tomorrow on 5 Live. Brighton against Liverpool, followed by Wrexham against Sheffield United. Those are 2 commentaries. And join us for commentary of the Australian Open men's singles final as well tomorrow morning. That starts at 8:30 a.m. Ball is all the way through now to Fraser Forster in the Tottenham goal, all in bright yellow. Tottenham coming forward through their own half with Japhet Tanganga out to the left-hand side and Longley. And I did say, Chris, it is hard to ask you to analyse the back 3, but the only aerial threat that they had to deal with when they were beaten in the air by Liam Lindsay, that will be a little concern for
I'm not convinced with the 3. I think if you can ask a few more questions, which Preston have not, you know, they'll be delighted the way it's the way Preston set up and drop off. So they've not been asked any questions. Never's the odd one, but no, I'd like to see Preston have a right go, a little bit more adventurous at them.
Fair to say, it's a game that is decreasing rather than increasing in quality. Sadly, we've just seen a long ball over the top there from Longley. Son chasing. He is never going to get that.
It needs a goal, doesn't it? Simple as that. Then it'll make the other team change its style of play, maybe up the tempo. I mean, Tottenham's dictating the pace of the game at the minute, and Preston are competing well. Well, that's it.
Need some more of those white balloons.
Yeah.
Highlight of the first half. Tottenham win possession just outside their own penalty area, but from a Preston perspective, I mean, I take your point, Chris, absolutely, about how they've offered little up front, but defensively, as long as they can keep it goalless, not be breached by Tottenham, Ryan Lowe and his side will certainly feel that this is the FA Cup. There's always a chance as they have the ball just outside their own penalty area, and they've had the big guns visit in the Cups in recent years here at Deepdale. They lost 2-0 to Liverpool here in the League Cup last season. That one they held out for 62 minutes. Actually took the lead against Arsenal and Manchester United in the FA Cup. That back in 2017, 2015, went on to lose both of those. Tottenham pick it up just outside their own penalty area. I was reading an interview with their captain Alan Brown ahead of this one. He's been here for a long time, and he was saying there's almost a sense of nearly but not quite when these sort of cup ties come around for Preston as they win the ball midway through their own half, and Ali McCann will try and spring the counter. The ball bounces off Peter Banks, but Preston keep possession and play it out to the left-hand side. But again, it's the delivery over the top. It's poor, too much on it this time for Cannon, and it's out for a Tottenham throw. Yeah, I
mean, we're waiting for something to happen, aren't we? Let's be honest, it's one of them games where Preston are making it very difficult for Spurs, but Spurs without a normal centre forward, I find it very difficult. I think the approach play's decent, the way they're moving the ball, but in that final third, they all want to come and join in on the ball. There's nobody thinking, I'm going to make a run the other way, or put the ball in the box, I'll get on the end of it. It's all playing in front of Preston.
They are on top, Tottenham. But Freddie Woodman is having a relatively quiet evening. What can Kulusevski do about that? Doherty goes down, strong challenge. Now Preston are aghast. They feel that was fair, but the whistle has been blown by Peter Banks. And Tottenham have a free kick, decent position this, wide right, just about level with that 18-yard line of the penalty box. It's another set-piece opportunity, Chris. Did Tottenham get a bit lucky?
It is. It's a good area. Son obviously fancies this. He's going to whip this in, and the one thing is make sure you miss the first man. But yeah, this is a very good opportunity, and we'll see. Tottenham have got some big players. The 3 centre-halves have gone up.
So far, Preston's back three have defended set pieces very well. They've worked together so well as a unit this season. Story, Lindsay and Hughes, all key players for Preston, called into action once more here. It's a one-player wall. Son Heung-min stands over this free kick, wide right for Tottenham. There's a white balloon trying to get on the pitch. A very good throw that by the fan who was trying to make that happen. So what can Son do with the ball from this right-hand side? He can't beat the first man, and it was Robbie Brady, so he's not that high. It's a Tottenham corner.
It's a terrible free kick, isn't it? One, as you said, one man in the wall and he hits him. I mean, lacking in quality. No, they've got a corner out of it.
So will they play it short again? They've done that on most occasions. Again, there's just one player over there for Preston, and this has been an area where Tottenham have been able to catch Preston out a little bit, but they're not playing it short this time, or certainly not immediately, and Son will move away now, so it will be swung in. Son is taking up a position just inside the penalty area. It's swung in towards the 6-yard box, and Brady is there again, wins the header, and again it's a corner for Tottenham, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a delivery what goes past the first man, but there's another big Preston player in a white shirt standing behind him who heads it out for another corner. Took a short one now.
This time they do play it short, a little bit more quickly. Son to Perisic, Kulusevski tries from the edge of the box, and that's just over the bar. That was a very decent effort from Dejan Kulusevski.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short corner. I mean, Preston haven't woke up yet on these short corners. Listen, you get where you're going to play, your near post, your marker, whatever. But Tottenham send 3 out, and it's every corner they've worked it basically between the 3 of them. And Preston have got to get another body out there somehow.
Yeah, it surprised me they swung the first one in, because again, we mentioned, didn't we, there's just one player out there, and it's working. Well, it's not fully working because it's still 0-0, but that was probably the closest effort that Tottenham have had. Kulusevski just over the bar. Did score a couple of games ago. Sweden international, 2 for the season. Still at Deepdale on 5 Live, we're goalless. It's Bentancur for Tottenham, comes over the halfway line, plays it forward to Bissouma. Has Sessegnon as a wide option and now uses him. Sessegnon with space down that left hand side, plays it in. It's a ball delivery. It's cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Story, and Tottenham will pick it up on the left hand side. But Preston really struggling to counter, almost helped out by Tottenham there, but Tanganga gets a foot on it in the centre circle to retain possession. Well anticipated by Bentancur, and Sessegnon now plays it to Bentancur, fortunate with the deflection, but Bentancur then can't control it. It a miscontrol. And Chris Waddle, that is pretty much the story of this half for both sides.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think Ryan Lowe will be delighted that it's 0-0, and you know they're not really offered a lot Preston going forward, but you know they're saying you're the Premier League team, you come and beat it. And at the minute, Tottenham are just up to the final third. Some of the approach plays been nice on the eye, but you know where it all counts in the box, we're not seeing anything. So Preston will be absolutely delighted.
So they have a goal kick, which Freddie Woodman's preparing to take. That white balloon is still bouncing up and down at the bottom of the stands away to our right. I feel like the fan needs to commit, not just bounce it up and down in front of them. If they want it on the pitch, they need to throw it up, big hit with the right hand, and then we'll see. Can you tell it's quite a slow-paced game?
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Preston win a throw over on the far side, but we have to say, as you just mentioned there, Chris, it's job done so far, or job going pretty well for Ryan Lowe. It's 0-0 against a Premier League side that's at 26 places above them. 7 minutes until half-time. Can they fashion a chance? Can they make Fraser Forster work before the break? As Robbie Brady picks it up. He's had a good game, the former Hull man. Plays it out to this left-hand side, looking for the return ball. It's intercepted by Doherty. And will be picked up once more by Davinson Sanchez for Tottenham. Sends it out to the left-hand side, and Longley Now Sessegnon hugging that left-hand touchline, plays it back to Longley once more. Commentary from Old Trafford coming up at 8 o'clock, rounding off our FA Cup commentaries of the day. Manchester United against Reading with Conor McNamara and Leon Osman. Do join us for that. And a reminder, you can watch this match on BBC One here at Deepdale as Longley plays it forward to Son, the left-hand side, well challenged by Brown, but will come straight back to Tottenham, who play it centrally to Japhet Tanganga. In white boots and black gloves, squares it to Davinson Sanchez. Every single player, bar Fraser Forster, is inside the half of Preston North End of the Championship. In field now to Bentancur and out to the right-hand side, and Kulusevski once again, a little bit of space for Tanganga out to the right now, and Doherty. This is nicely worked again by Tottenham. Is there the end product? Not on that occasion. Falling by Doherty was well claimed by Freddie Woodman, and now here goes Alan Brown looking to bring things forward for Preston. In field to the centre circle, and Ched Evans, who turns under pressure and does well to squeeze that past Kulusevski, and out to Robbie Brady on this left-hand side. But Brady stops and checks and will play it back to Hughes, laid off by McCann and Ledson. Preston's turn to enjoy a rare spell of possession, but again it's that final pass, this time from Brady. It's read easily by Longley, and Tottenham will bring it forward with Bentancur. Slightly opening up a little bit as Perisic picks it up down the left-hand side. Son now has moved into this central position as Perisic pulls it back to Bentancur. 0-0, 4 minutes plus added time to play in the first half here at Deepdale. Out to the right-hand side, and Kulusevski, as Doherty has an option ahead of him, instead goes back to Bentancur, and now square once again for Longley as Tottenham laboriously work it out to the left-hand side. Sessegnon, turn of pace down to the byline, ball across, bounces off the roof of the net. Preston goal kick. It's 0-0.
Listen, I'm sure Conte will be delighted all the way up to the last 30 metres of the pitch, and after that it's been absolute nightmare. Tottenham have had so much possession, good time in possession, waiting for that little bit of brilliance, and the guy probably who sitting in the dugout, Harry Kane, would be, for me, this game could be over if Harry Kane had started this game, but they've made their decision to leave him on the bench, and you just think Preston will get an opportunity. They will get one or two opportunities, and he must be thinking, could I have started Harry Kane, get the lead and take him off, get the lead and take him off. But I mean, Tottenham up to the final third have looked good. At the final third, not offering nothing.
The mist just thickening here at Deepdale. The ball goes out of play for a Preston throw. I guess that's the challenge for Tottenham with Harry Kane on this one. He's been ill in the build-up. He was ill against Fulham, and he played and he scored and he equalled, of course, the great Jimmy Greaves' goal-scoring record for Tottenham. But he's been ill during the week. He only rejoined training on Friday, but this is just typical Harry Kane, isn't it? He wanted to travel, he wants to be involved, and you have two options, don't you, with Tottenham pick it up just inside their own half. As you say, Chris, you either start him, you try and get an early goal or two and then take him off, or you make 7 changes, you hope that the side that you put out can get the goals, and then you don't have to play him, or you can give him 10 minutes at the end as Tottenham coming through into the penalty area. Kulusevski, excellent sliding block, will clear the ball away for Preston. Very well defended by Liam Lindsay at the back there as Preston through Brady clear up towards halfway. Lovely turn by Cannon, the Everton loanee. Lovely turn by Ched Evans inside the centre circle. Oh, they're all doing the 360s as we approach half-time. With 2 minutes to play, it's 0-0. Well anticipated by Tottenham though on the halfway line. The ball forward was just a little too strong though, and will be cleared away by Freddie Woodman. Almost brought down by Alan Brown, but it runs through to Tottenham once more. Here is Bentancur to Bissouma, just inside the Spurs half. Now over the halfway line to Son. Goalless here on 5 Live as they come down the left-hand side with Longley once more. Goes in field to Bentancur, closed down by Cannon. Now laid off to Yves Bissouma. Again, Preston have almost everybody back. Ched Evans, the only player standing inside the centre circle, just giving Tottenham little something to think about if Preston can get a foot in. But at the moment, they're more concerned with keeping their shape as Tottenham work it out to the left-hand side. And Longley, here is Ryan Sessegnon, tries to play the ball into the penalty area. Well blocked away by Alan Brown, who's been having a good game, the Preston captain.
Yeah, well, listen, you can't fault the way Preston have lined up and the way they are. Not the most ambitious, let's be honest, but they've frustrated Tottenham and they've done a great job on them.
event occurring a little bit late. Preston free kick just outside their own area.
You know, you're looking for Tottenham. I think Son's probably been the most positive when he's picked the ball up, to looking to get a shot up or try and score, have shots on target. Apart from him, you know, everybody's just attracted to the ball. They all come, they want to link the play, they all want to join in. But, you know, when you get that final third, you just need that player who you think, yeah, he's going to turn the game, he's going to put it in the net for it. And at the minute, for all Tottenham are dominating this football match, they don't look like they're going to score.
Freddie Woodman preparing to take this free kick for Preston. 0-0 as we approach added time at the end of the first half here on 5 Live. Manchester United against Reading rounds off our FA Cup commentaries this evening, 8 o'clock. Do stay with us for that. And tomorrow we have Brighton against Liverpool, followed by Wrexham against Sheffield United. And a reminder, you can listen to all the reaction from the day's football on the Football Daily podcast. Do download that from BBC Sounds as the ball goes out of play for a Preston throw. And that is the least surprising thing so far on 5 Live at Deepdale. We're 1 minute of added time. Can you put 0.5?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would have thought you could put that up.
Sometimes you have none, do you? Don't you? I guess we did have a slight stoppage for injury to Ali McCann that wasn't serious. He's been able to play on as Sessegnon clears the ball away for Tottenham, headed forward by Story. Tottenham win the second header, goes out for a Preston North End throw. Nearly there, Chris.
Yep. Get the kettle on.
So Preston with the throw midway through the Tottenham half. 0-0. Seconds to play in this first period. Full roundup at half time of all the FA Cup action in the Football League as well. Juliet Farrington will be talking you through that here on 5 Live as the ball goes over the halfway line from Tottenham. And there we go. Half time at Deepdale. And Chris Waddle, Tottenham on top. But in terms of goal-mouth action, it's been very 0-0.
Yeah, you just summed it up. Tottenham have dominated the ball. They've had, I would say, probably 80% of the ball. But apart from one half save from Woodman, which was comfortable for him, Tottenham haven't affected the goal. And this is what it's about. You've got dominating. You're looking for players who get on the ball and make things happen. Final third, Tottenham have been a disaster. Up to there, you've got to say some of the approach play is great. Preston are doing their job. How they've set up to park the bus at times, frustrate Tottenham. They're doing their job.
They've got the option, Tottenham, of Harry Kane on the bench. Will we see him in the second half? We wait and see. Half-time at Deepdale, Preston 0, Tottenham 0.
Thanks, Vicky. Chris, maybe you can actually answer that question. Do we expect to see Harry Kane sooner rather than later? Because it sounds like they need to be a little bit sharper in front of goal.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't know how well he is or what the problem is, but if he's fit enough to play 45 minutes, I'll put him on now. Tottenham don't need a replay. Any club doesn't need a replay. So, it's about winning this game. Now, whether he's going to leave it in the last 15, 20, that may be what they, give Harry Kane a chance, he's going to take it. And Tottenham at this minute need Harry Kane on the park because I can't see anybody else putting the ball in the net.
OK, Chris, we'll be back with you in around 10 or 12 minutes or so here on 5 Live Sport. We're here at Old Trafford ahead of the final fourth round match of this Saturday. Manchester United against Reading. So far today, good away days for Leeds United, Leicester, Grimsby and Sunderland. Here, though, are the scores to round up. Leeds beating Accrington by 3-1 at the Wham Stadium in the early kick-off. It finished Walsall 0, Leicester 1. Replays for Blackburn and Birmingham City. It finished 2-2 there at Ewood Park. Bristol City beating West Brom by 3-0. Fulham 1, Sunderland 1, so that too goes to a replay. Ipswich 0, Burnley 0, that one as well. Luton 2, Grimsby 2, Grimsby forcing that one. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Fleetwood 1 and Southampton 2, Blackpool 1. FA Cup match of the day, BBC One at 10 to 11. That's with Dion Dublin and Ashley Williams. Well, you can see all of the goals and highlights, and we're going to hear from Tony Mowbray, Grimsby boss Paul Hurst and Jesse Marsh after the latest news with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Jules, thank you. Good evening. Police have begun a murder investigation after a 15-year-old girl was stabbed to death in Hexham in Northumberland. A 16-year-old boy who was also attacked is in a stable condition in hospital. Officers are questioning another boy who's also 16 on suspicion of murder. Downing Street is denying reports that the Prime Minister was told about an issue with Nadeem Zahawi's tax affairs before appointing him as Conservative Party chairman. chairman. According to the Observer newspaper, Rishi Sunak was warned last autumn that the issue involved a significant amount of money and was not a trivial accounting error. Downing Street says the claims are untrue. Claire Drakeford, the wife of Wales First Minister Mark Drakeford, has died suddenly. The Welsh Government's asked for the family's privacy to be respected. And the BBC understands around 75,000 passengers have had their flights cancelled following the collapse of Flybe today. 277 of the airline staff have lost their jobs.
BBC Sounds.
Hey, Ellis and John here. We're going to tell you how to get more from your potentially brand new and still in its box smart speaker.
Start by saying, open BBC Sounds.
Then you can listen to a music mix.
Play Ramesh Ranganathan for the love of hip-hop.
Nice. You could maybe try a new podcast.
Like Play Football Daily. Or if you fancy a bit of live radio, just say...
Play 5 Live.
It's easy.
Music, radio and podcasts. Available on most smart speakers.
Just say Open BBC Sounds to get started.
5 Live Sport
with Juliet Farrington.
So at half-time at Deepdale, up the road from Manchester United here, it's Preston 0, Tottenham 0. We've got Manchester United and Reading still to come. Full commentary of this FA Cup fourth round tie at 8 o'clock. Two massive, important domestic cup games for Manchester United this week, but also a really exciting cup tie at Craven Cottage, ending Fulham 1, Sunderland 1. 15-year-old Chris Rigg looked to have scored the winner for the visitors from the Championship, but his goal was ruled off for offside in the build-up. Let's hear from the manager, Tony Mowbray.
I think it was an amazing performance against a top team who were flying high in the Premier League at the moment, and I think right from the off we were on the front foot. I think first half particularly we threatened their goal a lot and we're disappointed really only to score one. I think you could feel their quality, their top players who play in tight areas and move the ball around really well, and yet every time we counter-attacked first half we looked like we could score. They eventually broke us down, and yet we made some subs and give us a bit more energy. And looked like we'd won it late on. It wasn't to be. 15-year-old scoring what would have been the winner for us. I think when you look at our team, take out Danny Bath, take out Ross Stewart, who came off very early in the match, and Patrick Roberts, you've got a team of lads 20-year-old and under really playing in the team, and so 7, 8, 9 of them. I thought it was an amazing performance against the top Premier League side.
You say how young they all are, but you must have sent them out saying, you're going to take on a Premier League team, but that doesn't matter. You can perform against them, and they did.
Well, listen, we won a massive derby in front of 44,000 people only a few days ago, and they know that we get the ball to the front four. We're very fortunate to have a player the talent of Diallo, and Patrick Roberts. How on earth he was playing in League One last season is beyond me. I mean, an amazing talent. We get the ball to them front players, and Jack Clark obviously scored the goal with his speed and directness today, and we can damage any team.
And there were 6,000 Sunderland fans there at Craven Cottage to watch that one and also get the replay as well. Another creditable draw for the underdog came at Luton. League 2 Grimsby earning a replay after a 2-2 draw. Afterwards, their manager Paul Hurst spoke to Mike Williams.
Paul, we can hear the music in the away dressing room, celebrating that almost like a win.
Not quite, but I think we have to give a lot of credit to the players. We're certainly not getting carried away. However, it was a really good effort from the players. I thought we played well. Didn't feel it was like a lucky draw. I think we deserved that. And now we've got another game in a hectic schedule.
You're exactly right. You didn't just come to Luton and nick a draw. You've fully earned that result today with a really resolute performance.
Yeah, I think we had a nice kind of structure to the team. They worked extremely hard. We knew we had to. We asked before the game for the players to try to get to their top levels, because against a Luton team and they were strong. They're a fantastic side, and you're kind of pleased with the draw in one respect. But going into the game, there's an element of concern because of how well they play and are doing this season. But yeah, really pleased with the discipline shown by the players and the attitude and commitment to the game.
And if you can perform like that here at Kenilworth Road, get them back to your place in 10 days' time. Did you fancy yourself in the replay?
Look, we know we're still massive underdogs, of course, but it's nice. It's nice for the club. It's days like this for the fans. We've had some tough times over the years, like pretty recent years, and this is another day to add to, a memory. We've said that again to the players as well, but it's for the fans. and we'll look forward to hosting Luton in what we know will be another extremely difficult game. Perhaps we've had his chance, but let's see when that game comes around.
In our first commentary of the day, Leeds avoided a potential banana skin, winning 3-1 at Accrington Stanley. Goals from Jack Harrison, Junior Firpo and Luis Sinisterra saw the Premier League side safely through. Here's their manager, Jesse Marsh.
We knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it was going to involve a lot of long throw-ins and free kicks in the box. We knew we were going to have to defend well in those moments. They have a big group. But in the end, I think we were able to show our quality because we had the mentality to fight in those moments so that we could find our chances and then find our win.
Probably fair to say that match officials interpret rules a little differently when it's a lower league side against a side from the Premier League. But do you quite like that as a coach in terms of that passion and desire, that extra fight that your players have had to show today?
I like that we have a team that can be gritty, and I know that we have a team that will work for each other every day. I think our fans appreciate that. They demand that from the team, and so do I. Again, we fought hard, we stayed strong, we stayed focused, and then that's more than anything, along with the quality, that was the reason we were able to get the win.
Obviously, Premier League is always going to be the priority, but give me a reason why a team like Leeds United can't reach the latter stages and win the FA Cup.
I would just say right now that we're happy that we're able to push in the tournament. You always hope for a good draw. We'd like to play at home, but we're taking the tournament very seriously and we want to make a cup run.
We'll be going back to Deepdale shortly for second half commentary of Preston against Tottenham. Southampton, another Premier League side already through to the fifth round. They handed Mick McCarthy a 2-1 defeat in his first game in charge of Blackpool. Nathan Jones, the manager, says his side made life difficult for themselves.
Well, absolutely. We were in control of the game at 2-0 and then, sometimes we just don't do the basics right, and that made it a little bit more touchy late on, but we were well in control of the game, had no real problems, a little bit more quality in the final third. We could have been further ahead, and then we just caused our own problems with naive defending. I mean, they've scored from a counter-attack when we're in control. He skips past two of our midfield players, runs through, slots it. Shouldn't happen because it's not great play. We defend poorly in terms of that, and that's cost us little bits of discipline, because on the whole we've been good since I've come in, but little bits of discipline have really cost us, and that comes from maybe confidence and not in a winning habit. So this will do us good, but we probably made it harder for ourselves than we needed to.
Is that something you can work on, something that can be corrected?
I think it comes with time, it comes with results, it comes with performances, all of those things, but individual things that has to be done better, then we become a better team.
Your victories in the main have come in cup competitions this season. Another one today. Is that helping in terms of what you're looking to achieve in the Premier League?
Well, I hope so, because we're a 50% win ratio, but a lot of those in the caps, you know what I mean? So it's we'd like them to be reversed, and to be fair, in all honesty, we'd probably rather be out of the cups, but have had 5 wins in the league, which would put us in a far better position. But with time that should come, and then we're giving our fans something in the cups. FA Cup is vital, semi-final, second leg of a Carabao Cup. So look, there's a lot to be positive about. It's just we've got to make sure that we transfer the cup form into the league.
Well, news coming out from the tie between Blackburn and Birmingham. Both clubs have both issued statements this evening after the Birmingham goalkeeper Neil Etheridge said he was racially abused by fans at Ewood Park during that 2-2 draw in the Cup. The game was paused for several minutes. Referee Keith Stroud spoke with both benches after Jordan James's equaliser, and the matter is being investigated. And Aberdeen have sacked manager Jim Goodwin after a poor run of results. Aberdeen were beaten 6-0 at Hibernian today. Goodwin leaves the club after 11 months in charge. Here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United and Reading, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. Leon Osman and Conor McNamara are alongside me. United making the perfect start here in this competition 3 weeks ago against Everton. Leon, do we expect similar tonight from Manchester United against Reading?
Yes, I do. I expect that Manchester United will put a strong team out. They look like they're taking every competition seriously. They look like a team that are determined to improve and go places. So, yes, I would expect full commitment behind this game. And the way they've played lately, how exciting they've looked on the pitch, how good they've been at the top end with regards to creating opportunities and scoring goals, I think could be a very difficult evening for Reading.
And the fact I mentioned earlier as well, Conor, is that there's 2 really important domestic competitions this week for Manchester United, this being the first one. And obviously we've got the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg coming up on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, I think as well. I think, you know, last weekend at Arsenal was a bit of a reality check for Manchester United. Yes, they've been great. Yes, they are in the title race, but it's going to be a huge leap for them to go on and win the Premier League. They're fourth in the table at the moment. Silverware is there to be got at, though, in these domestic cup competitions. They've got that healthy lead going into the second leg against Nottingham Forest. So, of course, they're going to be strong tonight. Player like Marcus Rashford, is he the run he's on at the moment? He doesn't want to be. He'd play with the under-10s now just to get out there and keep this scoring run going. And I think it's going to be intriguing tonight. Andy Carroll, just that history he has of upsetting big teams over the years. He'll love attacking Manchester United's defence tonight.
And talking of Marcus Rashford, I saw him coming into the ground early. You've got the team news. Is he in that team?
Yes, hot off the press, we can confirm Rashford starts. Harry Maguire is the captain for Manchester United. Lindelof gets to play too, but it's a very strong team. Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, they're all in there. Wout Weghorst will lead the attack. It's a Manchester United team you'd expect to play in a Premier League game, apart from perhaps, I guess you would put Varane and Lisandro Martinez as the two central defenders, but otherwise very strong. De Gea is the goalkeeper, and for Reading, they only make a couple of changes from their last league game. It looks like they're going very strong. Andy Carroll starting. He wears number 2 these days, by the way. Centre forward Andy Carroll wears number 2, and Lucas João is the other who comes in.
The other thing as well about Manchester United, the fact that they are competing in 4 competitions. Don't forget they've got the Europa League as well, getting back into that next month. They're in a good, healthy position in the Premier League as well, challenging for those places and possibly a title challenge themselves. They're in these 2 cup domestic competitions as well. Really, Leon, good times around here, and it's been a while for them to have so much joy.
Yes, and you know, listening to Ten Hag in interviews, you like what he's saying. He's saying this club should be winning silverware. It's been far too long, and that's music to the ears of these Manchester United fans. They want to see their club in the finals of every competition that they enter, lifting silverware. It's what you see when we look across the stadium here, all those trophies up on the far side of the stadium showing what they're used to winning. So yes, it's a good sign from Erik ten Hag, but the team are playing well enough to win something this year. Unfortunately for them, you don't win much in January, so they need to keep on with this form to make sure that come the end of these competitions that they're lifting the cup.
Well, we'll be back at Old Trafford after the match at Deepdale has finished. The teams are back out there. Preston 0, Tottenham 0, and Chris Waddle, Tottenham would love to win some silverware, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. It seems many years ago they won something, and not going to get. This is a great chance to win this tonight. Not many Premier teams left in it.
So here we go. Thanks, Jules. Away for the second half here at Deepdale. Goalless between Preston of the Championship and Tottenham of the Premier League. 26 places between them. But in terms of goalmouth action, there's been very little between them so far in this match. Tottenham certainly on top in terms of possession, in terms of territory in and around the penalty area, but neither Fraser Forster nor Freddie Woodman in their respective goals have had to do very much at all. It's Tottenham in possession, playing in their changed third kit, a teal affair, with Preston in their traditional white shirts, navy shorts and the banded navy and white socks. No changes for either side at half-time. Chris Waddle's thoughts on that in a moment, but Tottenham in possession here with Davinson Sanchez in the centre circle. Tottenham, who have made 7 changes for this match from the Premier League victory over Fulham on Monday. Harry Kane, who has been struggling with illness this week, is on the bench, and as Basuma sends it back to the halfway line via Bentancur and now Davinson Sanchez. You said, Chris Waddle, you would have brought Harry Kane on immediately at the start of the second half if he was fit enough to do so. Are you surprised there's been no change as Tottenham play it with Bentancur just outside the penalty area now with Doherty? Basuma won't keep hold of it, does come from the right hand side. Kulusevski with the effort, blocked away, picked up once more by Bentancur, out to Kulusevski once again, and Kulusevski will go back to Bentancur just outside the penalty area. Nicely worked across. Kulusevski miscontrolled by Perisic and cleared away out of play by Preston for a Tottenham throw. Chris,
I think what he'll do is he'll give it 15-20 minutes. If it's not, I think Kane will come on, maybe Perisic come off, he'll rest it, he'll place I think he'll exchange players who've been playing quite a bit and bring fresh legs on, but Harry Kane's is certain to come on if it stays 0-0 in the next 20 minutes.
Yep, no Richarlison as an option. He has a minor injury, so hasn't travelled to Deepdale It's Tottenham in possession with Longley out to the left-hand side. Son goes down, manages to keep the ball though and lay it off to Ryan Sessegnon. Preston with the white shirts back, one of them is Story. Sessegnon gets past him, gets the ball across, it's cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box, chested down by Basuma. Son can't keep hold of it and will be picked up by Ched Evans, Preston's leading goal scorer, who does well, plays it off Sessegnon, and it's a Preston throw midway through their own half. So Preston have Woodman in goal, the back three of Story, Lindsay and Hughes. Ahead of them it's Brown, the captain, McCann, Ledson, Whiteman and Brady, with Evans and Cannon, who's on loan from Everton, up front. Preston still haven't taken this throw, so Tottenham with Forster in goal, the back three of Tanganga, Sanchez and Longley. Ahead of them Doherty, Bissouma, Bentancur and Sessegnon, with Kulusevski, Son and Perisic up front. It was largely Perisic that was playing through the middle in the first half. Son at the moment is taking that central position. And as Chris mentioned in the first half, as the ball goes all the way through to Fraser Forster, it's a back three only very occasionally for Preston. Largely it is definitively a back five with Brown and Brady sitting very deep as Tottenham come down the right hand side with Kulusevski forward to Bentancur, under pressure, gets it back to Kulusevski as Tottenham continue down the right hand side with Tanganga in field now to Kulusevski once more, midway through the Preston half, lays it off to Longley, who's got forward from centre half. He'll try his luck over the bar from 25 yards from Clement Longley, who has scored once for Tottenham, but that's not really a sort of chance that Antonio Conte will want to see him take it.
Well, they're attacking the end where the big bank of Tottenham fans are behind that goal, and they're expecting a little bit more what they saw in the first half, and I mean that's not a great start to the second half. It's very much planned out like it did the first half. The second half started Tottenham in possession, pushing Preston right back to the 18-yard line, but creating very, very little, and that's why I'm thinking we'll give it 10-15 minutes and we'll see the subs coming on. Danjuma will definitely come on as well because he can open doors.
Yeah, the new arrival this week, Arnaut Danjuma, he's amongst the Tottenham substitutes, could make his debut. Harry Kane could become Tottenham's outright record goal scorer, having levelled up that record of the legendary Jimmy Greaves at Craven Cottage on Monday. Here come Tottenham over the halfway line, down the right hand side with Kulusevski, turns away from the attentions of Robbie Brady and plays it out to the right hand side as Tottenham get the teal shirts inside the penalty area. Here is Son, will go for goal. Oh, brilliant! What a hit from Son Heung-min. Well, that's the quality we know he possesses. 25 yards out, it's a rocket, no chance for Woodman, and Tottenham lead at Preston by 1-0.
Well, that's what he's all about, isn't he? He's been the most positive player in the Tottenham shirt, trying to create, making things happen. He had a couple of shots first half. This one is unstoppable, isn't it? It's just a brilliant bit of play. And he's always had that in his locker, hasn't he, where he can score from 25 yards, 30 yards. He's always been brilliant at that. He scores probably more outside the box than he does inside the box. He's just, the way he picks things up, always knows what he's got in his mind. He knows what he wants to do when he receives the ball. And this is just clinical. And sorry, but no goalkeeper's going to stop this. Out of his feet. Oh, it's a fantastic goal in. I mean, that's what the game's needed. Now let's see what Preston can do.
Brilliant strike from the South Korean, loops into the bottom corner. It's a beauty, and as Chris Waddle says, no chance for Freddie Woodman, who's been such a key player for Preston in the Championship this season, but there was no stopping that. Son at his best. We haven't always seen that this season. It's just his 7th goal of the campaign, but a reminder of what Son Heung-min can do, and it's the breakthrough, that moment of quality, Chris, that we were talking about, that this game was desperate for.
Well, if it's not Harry Kane, and Son was your next best bet, and you've got to say he's provided a fantastic goal at the opening of the second half. Now Preston have got to come out and make a game of this and go and ask questions of this Tottenham back three.
Here they come with Whiteman, whips the ball towards the penalty area, a little ricochet off Longley, the deflection takes it to the edge of the box where Tottenham will clear, and Kulusevski finds Perisic, and that's exactly it, isn't it, Chris? I mean, we've talked about how Preston, this is what they do, even at home in the Championship. They're a team that likes to sit back, to soak up pressure, to play on the break. It serves them so well away from home, but we expected this from them this evening, but they have to come out now because it's a one-off game. Of course, we're out of the FA Cup if it stays like this, But Tottenham in the ascendancy. They have the goal, and the goal scorer, Son Heung-min, has just won a free kick midway through the Preston half.
I think it's going to be hard though, because the way Preston play, you know, away, home, is all the same. And for them to ask questions to say, look, go and press Tottenham back and go and hound up high 30, 20, 30, 40 yards up the field, it's not natural to them. So, you know, they'll be frightened about thinking, well, Tottenham will break on, we'll get a second, get a third, get a fourth. So I would probably think we'll see the most against similar Preston until it comes to the last 10, 15 minutes where they've got nothing to lose at.
Well, 8 minutes gone in this second half. Tottenham with the breakthrough against Preston through Son Heung-min, and Tottenham in possession. Longley plays it out to the left-hand side. Here is Sessegnon. Son's on the move ahead of him, but Sessegnon goes central instead. Basuma thought about shooting. Kulusevski, Perisic inside the area. Won't quite come down for Doherty, and cleared away at the back by Preston. Comes straight back at them though. Tottenham can't pick it up on the edge of the Preston penalty area, but the clearance is charged down, and here comes Tottenham edge of the box. Won't quite come through to Son. Perisic it was trying to trick his way through. He had Kulusevski as an option over on the right hand side, didn't manage to find him, and Whiteman will pick it up for Preston. And then the challenge by Doherty just on the halfway line. Free kick for Preston North End, who trail by a goal to nil here on 5 Live.
You know, well, Perisic there doing a few step overs. He just had a roll to Kulusevski in, and it could have been 2-0 and game over, but tried to come and sit on his left foot, and it's got cut out. But I'm still waiting for the reaction here from Preston. You know, it's a cup game, it's not a league game. You've got nothing to lose.
Well, this is a challenge for Preston. How do you change your style when it's the style that you play home and away? And how do you find the goals when you're the third lowest scorers in the Championship this season, although it has picked up a little more of late. They have a free kick on halfway, send it to the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Sessegnon and then by Son, who headed it back to Sessegnon. Good ball that in the end from Son, but Sessegnon can't keep hold of it. Alan Brown, though, the Preston captain, can't keep hold of it either. Real scrap going on between Sessegnon and Brown. In the end, Brown comes out the winner and plays it forward to Ledson, and now over the top for Tom Cannon to chase. Right hand side of the penalty area. The white shirts arriving for Preston. One of them is Ali McCann. Now out to the right hand side, and Brown, the captain, urged to play it into the area, does play it in again. Tottenham get the block in, this time down the left hand side from Sessegnon, who receives it from Basuma and clears long over halfway, all the way back to Freddie Woodman from Liam Lindsay, closed down by Perisic, and Woodman's clearance just kept in by the head of Jordan Storey, and then Whiteman getting the deflection off his pass, and it will be a throw to Preston just inside their own half. They trail by a goal to nil. Chris,
well,
what
it was great, Perisic. Well, it was just a clearance by Sessegnon, and he was never going to get it. It was always going to go through the keeper. Back pass, sorry, and he chases, 40, 50 yards there to make something happen. Tottenham need to get a second goal, though. They can't just sit on this 1-0 lead, because Preston will get a chance.
And they're coming forward now. Son Heung-min out to the right hand side. That's one thing that I have to say, they haven't sat back, Tottenham, but it's been that moment of quality. They found it in the second half with Son Heung-min, who's on the ball now, central position, 25 yards out, as Tottenham come down the left hand side now with Ryan Sessegnon. Good block by Brown. Will send it behind for a Tottenham corner.
Yeah, switching the play. You'd like to just see it move a little bit quicker with Tottenham when they get in them areas, that final third. You know, make the pass, hit it. Don't be frightened to hit it 30, 40 yards as well. Sometimes it's all tippy-tappy, which allows Preston to get a good shape.
So corner to be taken from this near side. Now in the first half, it was so often the short corner that Tottenham opted for, and it caught Preston out a couple of times. Again, there's still only one player there. Now they do play it short, Tottenham. Son Heung-min trying to work the space. Cannon was there defending. Son gets the ball across, cleared away by Tottenham. Bentancur picks it up on the edge of the D, but it's well marshalled, falls backwards towards the halfway line, and Sessegnon, who sends it out to the left hand side now, and Basuma exchanges passes with Tottenham's goal scorer Son. Now they go back towards halfway, out to the right hand side this time. Kulusevski wants to get involved. He's providing the option for Doherty, but Tottenham go central once more, and now out to the left hand side, in control, leading by a goal to nil. Here is Son, left hand side of the penalty area, might go for it again, trying to work the space, lays it off instead to Kulusevski, but Kulusevski's ball is behind Basuma, and it's out of play for a Preston throw.
You're just looking there for Son, for me, there to be more greedy. You know, he comes inside on his right foot. We know he's got the ability to bend it, strike it, whatever. You know, and he's rolling the ball off where you think, you're in the box, have a shot.
Well, that's it, isn't it? He's scored a wonderful goal. That's the difference between these two sides here on 5 Live. But when you consider the season he had last season, 24 goals, the best goal-scoring season of his career. I think we all expected him just to kick on this season, but just 7, including tonight, for the campaign, and a player that has shown only glimpses of that quality that we know he still has. It's been a tough season for Son Heung-min. The ball is over the top. Preston looking to make some headway with Cannon, almost played straight to Ched Evans there at the back by Bentancur as Forster closed down inside his own penalty area, plays it out to the right hand side, and Tanganga, nice turn away from the on-rushing Tom Cannon and played up towards halfway. A Pilifan ball not given against Son, but the touch just let him down by half a centimetre or so, and Tottenham concede possession, leading by a goal to nil here on 5 Live. Full commentary coming up from Old Trafford at 8 o'clock. Manchester United against Reading. Conor McNamara and Leon Osman do join us for that here on 5 Live. And a reminder, you can watch this match from Deepdale over on BBC One. Ched Evans, nice turn again for Preston inside the centre circle. Good strength, finds Whiteman out to the right hand side now, and Brown trying to trick his way past Longley in the penalty area. Longley stood up. Sessegnon got the foot in for Tottenham and clears up towards halfway. Longley wins the header as the ball comes straight back. Son is muscled out of it. Ledson helps Preston to get it forward, and now out to the right hand side, and Brown, who whips the ball in, it's charged down by Sessegnon. It's a corner to Preston North End. They trail by a goal to nil.
Well, they've got the crowd going, and this is what we've been waiting for. We're waiting for a reaction from Preston. It's took a long time in the game to see it, but they've got a corner.
Yeah, approaching the hour mark here at Deepdale. And Preston North End with the chance to test this Tottenham back line. Reminder, Antonio Conte changed all 3 centre halves, Tanganga, Sanchez and Longley. Fraser Forster is in goal. How will they cope with this Preston threat? A corner to be taken from this right hand side. The white shirts of Preston dotted amongst the teal ones of Tottenham in the penalty areas. The corner is whipped in, and after all that, Chris Waddle, what an anticlimax. Can't be the first man.
No, and on the train, goes in again.
Here goes Brady, that's a better header. Back towards the edge of the penalty area. Preston fans appeal for a free kick on the edge of the box. It was a better delivery from Brady. Tottenham's counter breaks down. And Ledson will play it to Whiteman. Out to the left-hand side now go Preston with Tom Cannon. Edge of the box. So we went down right on the edge of the penalty area there. And the free kick has gone the other way. Cannon's been penalised for diving. And he's into the book as well, the Everton loanee.
Well, there's no VAR, is there? So I'm getting a little look at this, hopefully on a replay. The referees thought he's dived. This is a little good spell by Preston, by the way, the last 5 minutes. They've upped the tempo, they've started asking questions. I'm getting a rerun now of it, and no, he goes down far too easy. This is a better angle. No, the referee's got that spot on.
Yeah, that is one for the simulation game, if ever there was one. Well called by the experienced Peter Banks. Tom Cannon into the book. But before that, it was the delivery from Brady as Tottenham come down the right-hand side. Preston clear up towards halfway. It was a shocking corner. Brady, to his credit, picked it back up as Cannon looks to counter and try and feed Ched Evans. Just too much on it and it's cleared away. Good little spell this for Preston, but the delivery from Brady, and I praised the header, but really it was the delivery that should have been praised, because the header was back across to the edge of the penalty area. Just send it into the box or don't get in the way.
Listen, Preston's got the crowd. They're having a nice little spell now. They've upped the tempo. Tottenham giving the ball away cheap, overdoing it, having too many touches, and Preston now are realising they've got nothing to lose.
And here they come forward on the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham get a foot in, but it comes out to Whiteman. Urges to shoot, works the space and does shoot, and it's wide. And Fraser Forster had it covered.
This is what I've been waiting to see from Preston. You know, we know at home they struggle, but I think they've started to realise that they're going out the FA Cup, and now they've pushed the 20 yards further up the field. They're trying to win the ball back higher. I've got to say, I've not been impressed with the Tottenham back three. When I've seen them play for Tottenham over the season when they have played. They've always looked as if they've got a mistake in them, and Preston's got to ask more questions.
Tottenham leading by a goal to nil. Excellent sliding interception by Liam Lindsay there to stop Son racing through on goal. Stood up well, stepped up well, and got his angle spot on there for Preston centre half as Preston looks to play it in field. Ched Evans goes down, Ledson then goes down, and the second foul is given by Peter Banks, and Preston will have a free kick just inside the Tottenham half. Preston 0, Tottenham 1, 17.5 minutes played in the second half on 5 Live. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, well, they're winning all the second balls now, and they're making this a cup tie, a proper cup tie, and Tottenham's got to dig in and move the ball quicker because Preston are growing in confidence.
Son Heung-min just being told to move back there by Peter Banks, the one-player wall for Tottenham, who lead 1-0, but this, as Chris has touched on, is Preston's best spell of the game. 11th in the Championship, playing 5th in the Premier League here on 5 Live as the ball is into the area and eventually bobbles through to Fraser Forster. It was a decent opportunity opening for Preston inside the box. They just couldn't find the purchase. The ball is picked up by Preston on the halfway line by Ben Whiteman. Plays it back inside his own half to Lindsay, and it's the first time really that we've seen the Preston back line have the time and the space to pass it across the back. It goes forward now, intercepted by Tanganga, but he can't keep hold of it. Does get a foot in. Preston still have it on the left hand side though, trailing by a goal to nil. Ball is pulled back midway through the Tottenham half. Preston still in possession and go all the way back into their own half, and you can hear the rumble of frustration around Deepdale. 4 wins they've seen all season, the Preston home fans. The away form's been great, that's why they're mid-table in the Championship. As Freddie Woodman clears away under pressure from Perisic. The header is one just inside the Tottenham half. Here is Son Heung-min, plays it back to Basuma, still on the halfway line. Tottenham still leading by the goal to nil that came early in the second half. A superb strike from Son Heung-min. You can catch that on BBC One, currently on the iPlayer. You can rewind or join them for the FA Cup highlights. That is at 10 to 11 on BBC One this evening. Tottenham in possession midway through the Preston half. Bentancur sends it out to the right hand side and exchanges passes with Tanganga. Now Doherty will pick it up, has Kulusevski ahead of him, but Tottenham happy to pass it backwards. Antonio Conte there over on the far side, not happy with the direction that his ball is going in at the moment, although he might be a little happy. It's forward now, it's sideways. Tottenham leading by a goal to nil midway through the Preston half. Bentancur out to the left hand side now, and Longley as Tottenham inch forward. Good ball into the penalty area, and Freddie Woodman tips over the header from Perisic. Well, out of nowhere, Longley's dug out a fabulous ball. Good header from Perisic. Good save by Woodman.
It was a good patient attack by Spurs. They looked on control. They waited. They baited the time. Came to the left hand side, and as you say, a lovely ball in. Misses the first man, which we haven't saw from both teams tonight a lot. And it's a decent header. It's a little glancing header. It's had the goalkeeper stretching to tip it over the bar.
Now, are they going to play it short again, Tottenham? There's one Preston player 10 yards away. There's another just inside the penalty area. They do play it short again. Harry Kane is one of our own, is the chant from the travelling fans as Basuma plays it in, looking for the run at the far post, but Doherty on the stretch can't bring it down, and it will be behind for a Preston goal kick. Preston 0, Tottenham 1, and I think, Chris Waddle, we know who the Tottenham fans want to see come on.
Yeah, well, I can understand why. I mean, they've took the lead, Tottenham, and since then they've come off the pace a little bit. Preston have grown in confidence. I think Preston's getting somebody stripped off ready to come on. They've got to go for it now, Preston, and that's where Tottenham really should exploit the gaps.
Well, they're limited in terms of attacking changes, Preston, as Tottenham are to an extent, although Harry Kane certainly alleviates that somewhat. But no Richarlison, he's got a minor injury. Brian Healy's fit enough to be on the bench. They've got Danjuma as well, their new signing, who could come on for his debut. As Freddie Woodman clears over the halfway line for Preston. It's brought down by Ledson for the home side. Out to the left now, and Robbie Brady over the halfway line. Ball in field to Cannon, who tried to go for the 1-2. It's picked up by Ali McCann, and now Brady. This is nicely worked, but again, it's just the final ball, that difference in quality from a player that we know Brady's played at the Premier League for level for so long, but hasn't quite been on point with his deliveries tonight. Liam Lindsay, though, has had a good game. He steps up on the halfway line. The centre half wins the ball back for Preston. And they have it now with Stallwood out to the right-hand side, and Brown, the captain, who will get there ahead of Ryan Sessegnon. Brown deciding to drive into midfield, central position. Ledson now out to the left-hand side. There is so much more urgency from Preston, trailing by a goal to nil. Ball into the area though is poor. It's cleared away over the halfway line. There's only Perisic up there for Tottenham. And it's a straightforward enough task for Hughes to steer it back to Woodman. He plays it out to the left-hand side, and Hughes once more. You can see how comfortable Preston are in terms of passing the ball around at the back. That back three, the understanding between them shows they play together.
Yeah,
this season.
they've played a lot together, and listen, a well-drilled, well-organised side, and you can see when they go on the road, they must be hard to break down, and that's why they catch teams on the break. But you know, Ryan has got to find a way of putting pressure on teams when they come to Deepdale, because you know the fans do create a good atmosphere in here, and this should be a fortress, really.
Yeah, it's been an Achilles heel for them this season, but it's still just the one goal in it as we approach the midway point of the second half. Tottenham through that sumptuous strike by Son Heung-min early in the second period, lead in the FA Cup fourth round on 5 Live by a goal to nil. Ryan Sessegnon for Tottenham plays it in field to Bissouma. Both sides preparing to make a change over on that far side as Sessegnon picks it up once more, sends it back to Longley, and Tottenham content with the goal advantage to slow the play down. More than one change for Tottenham. It looks as though it may be a triple change as Son picks up the ball inside the area. Lovely turn, lovely finish, and Son Heung-min at his best tonight at Deepdale. Second goal for Tottenham, second goal for Son. A lovely finish, and they lead Preston by 2 goals to nil.
Yeah, Son again, great movement, great ball, lovely little check back from his right onto his left, and he can hit this ball either foot. We know, we've seen it over the years, and that is another class finish as Tottenham have 2 subs ready to come on. Preston's made a substitution now, but Son, I said if Harry Kane doesn't play, if Son doesn't play, this will still be 0-0, but it's a great little turn, left foot, goalkeeper absolutely no chance, left foot finish. That should be game over.
It's brilliant from Son. He's come to life in this second half, and his name is being chanted by the travelling Tottenham support, packing that stand away to our left, and he raises his hands above his head and applauds. So Preston have made that change. Ben Woodburn is on in midfield for Ryan Ledson, and Tottenham are preparing to make a triple substitution, and they looked as though they were ready there already, Tottenham, but you just wonder whether that second goal has perhaps changed Antonio Conte's thinking, because they lead 2-0. It's 2 goals for Son. Freddie Woodman clears under pressure, skewed straight out of play for a Tottenham throw.
He'll be thinking about the next game, so if you want players to rest, they've done the job. Listen, if he took Son off, you wouldn't be surprised. Betancourt, again, big player for Tottenham. I can understand the reason to take him off. He is a big player.
So here is this triple substitution. The first player to make way is Bentancur. He is replaced by Oliver Skipp.
Perisic, I think, is coming up as well, isn't it? These guys will be playing the next game, aren't they? So
Sessegnon it is, the next player.
Sessegnon, he's just walking off here.
He's replaced by Danjuma, who comes on to make his Tottenham debut, and Matt Doherty is replaced by Emerson Royal. So Son staying on, no Harry Kane as yet, but a debut for Arnaud Danjuma. Chris arrived on loan from Villarreal this week, had been expected to join Everton before Tottenham made a late move. What will he bring to this Spurs side, the Netherlands international?
Well, what he's very good at, and when I watched him play over the last few years, especially at Villarreal, he carries the ball well and he runs at people. He commits defenders. He can go past players. And yes, we've seen Son do it quite a bit, but he will offer a little bit more. He is a dribbler.
Preston North End win a free kick midway through their own half, trailing by 2 goals to nil. What do you do now if you're Ryan Lowe? What can you do now?
Well, I think the positive thing would be to go for it, try and play a bit higher, turn Tottenham, try and get them up the field. But I've got to say, I mean, apart from Tottenham not really creating a lot of chances, Tottenham have controlled this football match, apart from a spell in the second half of 5 to 10 minutes. Apart from that, they've been completely in control. It's hard for Preston. They're not used to pushing on and asking teams questions, and they must be worried about leaving gaps, and it could end up You know, you don't want to end up 4, 5 and 6, do you?
It's just the two. 26 minutes gone in this second half, but Tottenham, who in truth, and I know we analysed their performance and you were critical in terms of how much they tested Freddie Woodman in the first half, but if they come away with two superb finishes from Son, having essentially controlled the game, quiet night for Fraser Forster. Yes, they haven't played to their best. Yes, they haven't created as much, certainly in the first half, as they would have wanted to. And you can talk about slow starts again for Tottenham, which has been such a problem for them this season. But from this point going through, certainly would be deserved, as Perisic comes down this left-hand side, down to the byline, won't keep it in. Again, just that slight miscontrol at a key moment, which you've seen from both sides. But that's it. If you look at the game overall, where we are now, 2-0.
Yeah. Tottenham's been the better side, haven't they? Let's be honest. They came here and they've had a lot of possession without creating a lot, especially first half. Son's had 2 marvellous goals. I mean, top-class finishes. And they've always been in control of the game. I think I've got to say Preston's probably had a little spell of 5 to 10 minutes where they up the tempo a little bit. But Tottenham have just bossed this game completely.
Ball over the top, cleared away by Preston. There is one in the centre of the park by Oliver Skipp for Tottenham, and Preston get a foot in, trying to squeeze it through, looking for the run of Cannon. Won't be retained by Robbie Brady as the ball spins out of play over on the right hand side for a Tottenham throw. Tottenham leading by 2-0. All right, Chris, then would you put on Harry Kane at this point?
Well, he'd want to go and get the next goal, wouldn't he? You know what he wants his next aim is. But listen, if he's not being well, why risk? But if he's fit enough to travel, fit enough to put a shirt on, he's fit enough to play. So I'm sure he'll be saying, just put me on for 20 minutes.
Ball over the top, looking for Danjuma, the Tottenham debutant. Nice footwork. Oh, lovely little back heel by Son. Kulusevski, oh, that was almost beautiful. Almost found Danjuma as Tottenham give away the free kick with Kulusevski just on the edge of the Preston penalty area, but that was almost utterly gorgeous.
Well, he just showed you a glimpse of what he can do. He's very quick, he can aid a foot, he can change pace, he's got a trick, and it's getting in the side though. You know, Harry Kane will be back, and then you've got, Richarlison asking what a shirt. So will he get a run in the team? Son, 2 goals tonight. It's going to be very difficult for him to actually nail down a shirt.
Tottenham concede a free kick midway through their own half. Tottenham, who lead by 2-0. 2 specials from Son here on BBC Radio 5 Live as we approach the final 15 minutes of this match. Following conclusion of this, commentary will be straight to Old Trafford. 8 o'clock kick-off for Manchester United against Reading, which rounds off our FA Cup commentaries this evening. But more for you tomorrow. Brighton against Liverpool, Wrexham against Sheffield United. And do join us as well in the morning from 8:30 for the commentary of the Australian Open men's singles final as well here on 5 Live. So free kick for Preston midway through the Tottenham half. Can they find a goal back? Deep into the penalty area, headed away well by Davinson Sanchez. Preston pick it up once more, but a force back towards halfway out to the right hand side. They go now with Whiteman and Brown. Checks on that right hand side midway through the Tottenham half, and now sends it out to the left. Tottenham just dropping deep all of a sudden. I think they've realised that because suddenly Perisic steps up on the right hand side. Preston play the ball to the edge of the area, cleared away by Tottenham, and Son will send it out to the right hand side. That's great vision by Son, finds Perisic, who's dropped back into this deeper position with Danjuma coming on. So Danjuma, Son and Kulusevski are the players making up that trio for Tottenham. They send it out to the left hand side, and Emerson Royal has the runners ahead of him in the teal shirts, but opts to go back to Yves Bissouma instead. And Tottenham fans enjoying this trip up to Deepdale now, leading by 2-0, looking comfortable as they have done through this match, even though they struggled to test Freddie Woodman in the first half. But coming down the right hand side looking for a third goal, miscontrol inside the area from Kulusevski, and it's all the way through with Woodman.
Yeah, again, probably overplaying a little bit Tottenham. They've obviously got themselves in a position where they can take a little bit of time, extra touches on the ball, because it's been a very, very comfortable night for Tottenham so far, isn't it? They've not been asked many questions. Preston at times, put a few passes together, but I've never really. I can't remember first half and make save after save. So it's been a very comfortable cup tie this for Tottenham.
Ball over to the left-hand side for Preston is collected by Robbie Brady. Robbie Brady will not be able to take that throw because he's being substituted. Alvaro Fernandez is going to replace him as Preston make a double change. And the second player coming on, Daniel Johnson, is replacing Ali McCann. So Ryan Lowe bringing on fresh legs as they look to get back into this, trailing Tottenham by 2-0. The Manchester United loanee Alvaro Fernandez, still yet to make his senior debut for Manchester United, but was voted their under-23s player of the year last season. And Daniel Johnson, the Jamaican international, the two players coming on. Here is Johnson, picks up the ball immediately in a central position and sent it out to the right-hand side. And Story, Johnson's made the run, continued down the right, and is now found by Tom Cannon as Brown as an option as Preston continue to advance down the Tottenham right. Now go back in field, trailing by 2-0 as it's picked up by Hughes in the centre circle. And all of a sudden Tottenham are the side that are happy to drop deep. Tottenham the side happy to play on the break, as they do look to do now, but Kulusevski, having got the block in, can't keep hold of the ball, and it's a throw to Preston.
I'm just looking at Bruno Conte there, and he's saying to the team, get higher up the field again, don't start dropping off and asking for pressure. It's 2-0, 1 goal brings Preston back into it. He's saying keep doing what you're doing, keep on that front foot, push Preston back.
Yeah, it's notable, isn't it? Because they hadn't done that in between the first and second goals, but they just have, as Chris said, started to drop back, and they've conceded a corner as well. 12 minutes plus added time to play. Can Preston make things interesting here at Deepdale? Alan Brown's gone over to take the corner. Ched Evans will now pass the ball to him. But so far, the deliveries from set pieces from both sides, Chris, have been rather lacking.
Very poor. I mean, Tottenham's took a lot of short corners, but even when they have decided to put the ball in, it's been very poor quality. Most of them hit the front man, and it's disappointing because on the training ground, it never seemed to happen now.
Always the way, isn't it? So corner to Preston. It's looped up high towards the far post. Good claim by Fraser Forster, under pressure there, almost on his goal line, but took that very well. And walks to the edge of his penalty area and prepares to bowl this out. Tottenham leading by 2-0, looking to reach the 5th round like fellow Premier League sides have done today. Southampton, Leicester, Leeds, all through, Bristol City as well. 5 replays we're heading for, including Premier League Fulham, who came from behind at home to Sunderland. League 2 Grimsby winning a replay after a 2-2 draw at Championship Luton. Listen to all the reaction on the Football Daily podcast, and while you're there on BBC Sounds, do check out the Transfer Gossip Daily as well, keeping you right up to date with all the ins and outs through to the end of January. As Tottenham come over the halfway line, ball over the top looking for Son, who's on a hat-trick. Header was won. Freddie Woodman will get there and clear that away over the head of Perisic. The ball goes out of play for a Tottenham throw midway through the Preston half, leading by 2-1. 2-0, I should say. Preston have not got back on the score sheet. And if you've not seen them on BBC One tonight, check out those Son Heung-min goals on the highlights show. FA Cup highlights, BBC One at 10 to 11. They were 2 specials from the South Korean as Tottenham come down the right hand side once more, looking to add to that 2-goal advantage. Son tries to squeeze it into the penalty area, cleared away by Preston, won't quite come back to Son on the edge of the box. Basuma sends it out to the right hand side, now ball played into the area, headed away by Preston once more. Tanganga will allow that ball to bounce out, but it bounces out for a Preston throw. And we're into the final 9 minutes plus added time. And Chris Waddle, you're just not sure where the Preston response is going to come from.
No, I think you kind of falter at the commitment of Preston. They've been, they've really put a shift in. But you've just got to say tactically, Tottenham have been better tonight. And the attitude of Tottenham's been first class. And he's made a lot of changes, but they've still produced a strong performance physically. All right, haven't created as much as they'd like, probably. But 2 wonderful goals by Son, which has won the tie, really. But all you can ask for Preston is that they've got a game plan they've tried to play it, and on the end of the day, it's not been good enough.
They have a throw, Preston, deep inside their own territory. Tottenham leading by 2-0, set to reach the 5th round for the 4th year running. Preston intercepts with Whiteman out to the left-hand side, looking for Fernandez, but he's dispossessed, and Kulusevski's coming forward. Kulusevski into the area, challenged in the box, goes down. Half a glance at our referee Peter Banks, but nothing doing, as Son will pick it back up as Tottenham win it back. Inside the penalty area they go, Kulusevski pulling it across, looking for Danjuma, blocked away by Preston, and they should clear as well, up towards halfway, and they do so as Daniel Johnson picks it up. A little bit of space down this right-hand side for the captain, Brown, but he stabs it forward, and Johnson had not continued his run, and it's easy enough for Longley to tidy up to Davinson Sanchez.
No, it's not been Preston's night, has it? It's they haven't put a performance where you say a cup upset. They've not dominated the ball. They've not created any chances. This has been a comfortable game really for Spurs, and you know, Conte will be delighted that he's rested a lot of players, and they've still come out with a positive performance.
And here goes Clement Longley over the halfway line. Perisic on the stretch does manage to keep that in and play it back to Yves Bissouma, and that's it, isn't it, Chris? You touched on it there. 7 changes. Comfortable is exactly the right word to describe this performance. As soon as Son hit that first goal in 25 yards, beautiful strike low into the bottom corner early in the second half. Just didn't feel that Tottenham were going to relinquish this as Perisic plays the ball in, just couldn't get the delivery right.
That's a great ball. That's a great ball.
There speaks the former England winger.
No, that's a ball. He beats the first man. You've got to get somebody across the near post, and nobody tried to run across the near post. Again, you've got to say Tottenham are not playing any natural centre forward, so they're not normally do them runs.
I was going to say, you know who would be in there?
Yeah, well, definitely, yes. But then they criticise him saying he's out the box too much.
So another change being made for Tottenham, and there will be warm applause for this man, Son Heung-min. Well, it's been a challenging season for Son, but tonight he's shown a reminder of just how special he is, and he is roundly applauded by the Tottenham fans. 2 beautiful goals, and they're the difference on the night for Tottenham, with 6 minutes plus added time to play, and he'll be replaced by Bryan Hill.
Well, this guy's very talented. It never happened for him, did it, when he came? A bit lightweight, clever on the ball. Went out on loan, came back, and he's done okay since he came back. He's sort of got himself back into the picture.
Ball over the top into the Tottenham penalty area. Preston, though, are forced wide as they collect it and won't keep it in. Oh, he thought about smashing that away, Alan Brown, didn't he? Preston captain. It's turned into a night of real frustration for the Championship side. Their manager Ryan Lowe promised they would give it a real good go, said the pressure was off, but it's so hard to change a style that you play with for the whole season. They are a side that like to sit back, soak up pressure. It hasn't worked on several occasions at Deepdale this season, and it hasn't worked again this evening, although miscue clearance from Tottenham as Preston bring the ball down into the area. Cannon went down, didn't appeal that time for the penalty, having already been booked for diving, and Tottenham will play their way out of trouble. Here goes Oliver Skipp turning into space, forward now to Bryan Hill. Nice little control, but he's well marshalled by 2 white shirts of Johnson and Story. So goes back to Perisic, now to the right hand side. Tottenham go 4.5 minutes plus added time to play. Tottenham comfortable, 2-0 up here. Championship Preston. Out to the right hand side goes Emerson Royal to Kulusevski. Royal under a bit of pressure. Now steer it back to Davinson Sanchez, and Yves Bissouma picks it up for Tottenham. We'll be straight to Old Trafford after conclusion of this match. Commentary coming up with Conor McNamara and Leon Osman of Manchester United against Reading. Our final FA Cup commentary for you on 5 Live this evening. Daniel Johnson picks it up for Preston, plays it back all the way past Story. It will be collected by Freddie Woodman, and nothing, we said at the time, Chris, that nothing that he could do about those 2 Son goals.
No, they were just brilliant goals. They'll win any cup tie. So Tottenham, brilliant. Tottenham played, I think they've played well. I know they haven't created enough for what we're used to seeing, but
here they come down the right hand side. Kulusevski pulls it in. Danjuma on his debut. Danjuma scores on his debut. Tottenham through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, and on that Danjuma off the bench goes straight to the Tottenham fans, who cheer him to the rafters. because he's got Tottenham's third, his first on his debut. Tottenham lead Preston by 3-0.
Yes, and deservedly so. And it's not bad when he gets asked about his first ever goal for Tottenham. He'll say, I miskicked it. So he hasn't really hit it as well as he wanted to, I can tell you that. But he don't care. It's gone in the net. He seems to have built a relationship very quickly with the Tottenham faithful. Good move again. Brunette's on the right hand side does very, very well. Gets to the, he just drives at the hard ball across, and he's not caught that as well as he expected. But he don't care. Goes in the bottom corner, and it's 3-0 Tottenham. And there's somebody right on the pitch.
Yeah, so we'll let the stewards chase them, and we'll discuss Danjuma, because he's shown some lovely bits of skill since coming off the bench and getting his goal as well. Big cheer as the nearest steward falls over, as the fan eventually makes his way off the pitch, and we can get things underway once again. So it's one of those, isn't it? It would have been the same and then some if Harry Kane had come off the bench and scored and overtaken Jimmy Greaves. The fact that Danjuma's come off the bench and scored on his debut, it's made a comfortable, a decent night for Tottenham turn into a good one.
They've been in control. They've bossed the game. They've basically ran this game from maybe the odd little moment. Overall, Tottenham have done their job. A lot of changes. The players who've come in, give them credit. They've worked hard. They haven't turned up yet thinking we're better than Preston and all that. They've showed they're better than Preston. Well, the attitude's been first class and deservedly 3. And I can't really remember Preston where I actually think they should have scored. It's been a very, very convincing victory here for Tottenham Hotspur.
90 seconds plus added time to play, yet you mentioned it there, Chris, no hint of complacency whatsoever from Tottenham. I mean, we can criticise the domination they had in possession without really testing Freddie Woodman in the first half, but in terms of a complacency, which is something that has occasionally been thrown at them, that's not been the case, as Daniel Johnson comes through the centre of the park for Preston. Brian Healy picks it up. Good challenge by Ched Evans. No, not good challenge, says Peter Banks. And free kick, says Chris Waddle. Yeah. And Brian Healy's lifted to his feet.
Listen, I think Tottenham, he showed the strength of his squad here by making changes. But I think if you're playing, no disrespect to Preston, if you're playing against a better team, I think this 3 would have found problems tonight. There is the weakness that you've got to say about Tottenham is the back 3. When everybody's fit and everybody plays defensively, I still think they've got problems at wing back area, definitely on the right hand side, and they could do with a centre half if not 2. But apart from that, going forward, they've got some very, very talented and very good players.
Game's up for Preston. It has been for a while, and so they're taking off their top scorer Ched Evans and bringing on the youngster Finlay Cross-Adair to replace him. And as you say, Chris, they will have the likes of Liam Delap on loan from Manchester City. Cup-died for this because he's already featured in the competition for Stoke this season. They'll have him back for their next championship match, which is here against Bristol City next Saturday, as Finlay Cross-Adair looks to get past Davinson Sanchez, but it's well covered by Tanganga. And Forster, who has had very little to do this evening, comes out and clears long over halfway as a white balloon bounces onto the pitch and finds its way into the Tottenham goal. But Preston have not been able to breach this Tottenham back line. In truth, they've struggled to really get anywhere near the Tottenham penalty area. Tottenham leading by 3-0, and they have a throw deep inside Preston territory. We're into added time as the free kick goes against Tottenham, just inside the Preston penalty area. And Chris Waddle, it's job done.
Yeah, as I say, not another one. What's going on? Why are all the stewards slow? Why isn't there a steward who's quick?
We've got somebody else on the pitch that wants to take a selfie with one of the Tottenham players and tries to take one with Kulusevski. I mean, it is one of these, isn't it, that the game's up, there's just one steward on the pitch trying to chase this man down. Let's look at what Tottenham have coming up, Chris. Manchester City at home next Sunday, of course. AC Milan coming up in the Champions League as well. I guess the story of this match from their perspective is Danjuma obviously coming off the bench to score in his debut, and Son Heung-min, and it's one of these, it's a one-off match you've got to look at Son's form over the season, but are we seeing signs? Is this another sign that things are starting to come together for Son, or is the whole picture still concerning for you?
No, I'm just worried defensively for Spurs. I going forward, I don't think there's a problem. You know, Harry Kane will score, Son will score. Danjuma is a great addition. He will add more. Kuletsky's very good on the right. I think midfield are very good in attack. I just worry about the defence. And you've got to say, Hugo Lloris is not having the best of times at this minute.
Down they come the right-hand side. Emerson Royal, ball into the area, headed away by Liam Lindsay. Might actually have been able to let that run because there weren't too many teal shirts in there, but it's headed behind for a corner to Tottenham, who leads by 3-0. Final stages of this match here at Deepdale. Heading to Old Trafford after this for commentary. Manchester United against Reading. Do stay with us for that on 5 Live, and you can catch all the highlights from the FA Cup today on BBC One, 10 to 11 this evening. Corner whipped in by Tottenham, flicked all the way across the 6-yard box by a Preston head, and will be picked up by Alvaro Fernandez, who intelligently, Manchester United loanee, allows that to roll out for a Preston throw. And it looks as though it will be just the 3 goals. It is just the 3 goals for Tottenham. They're through to the 5th round for the 4th year running. Son Heung-min at the double. 2 special strikes from him, and Arnaut Danjuma off the bench to score on his debut. Harry Kane's wait to overtake Jimmy Greaves as Tottenham's record goal scorer goes on. He's unused, but in the end, Chris Waddle, Tottenham lead him.
No, listen, convincing win. Tottenham played very, very well. Very professional performance. Preston couldn't really have any answers for them. We know they like to drop off Preston and play deep, play on the counter-attack. It didn't work tonight, and Tottenham convincing winners and go into the next round.
7 changes, but job done. Finishes at Deepdale. Preston 0, Tottenham 3.
Thank you, Vicky. Vicky Sparks bringing you commentary from Deepdale then of Tottenham's 3-0 win at Preston. Chris Waddle just talking about Tottenham. They didn't really have much to worry about, did they? Good game management as the game went on, and Preston probably didn't produce the chances that Ryan Lowe was talking about before kick-off.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a comfortable performance for Tottenham. Preston didn't really ask any questions throughout the whole 90 minutes. The goalkeeper for Tottenham, Foster never had a save to make. Nothing really. Yes, they worked hard. They were honest, Preston, which you expect. But Tottenham were just far too good for them. And this will do confidence a lot. You know, the squad a lot of confidence because players who've come in tonight who normally don't get a game. And they've done themselves no harm. I know it's against the Championship opposition, but overall, Tottenham, very professional performance, very good result, and they go into the next round.
You talk about confidence, Chris, just quickly. How much confidence will that give Son tonight with those 2 goals?
Yeah, and he needs it. He had an amazing season last year, and he's had games where he's been brilliant this season, and he's been off the boil. I can see why he's been left out or brought off. But that'll give him a lot of confidence, and hopefully he can kick on from there.
Thank you, Chris. Chris Waddle alongside Vicky Sparks at Deepdale tonight. Tottenham beating Preston by 3 goals to 0. We're around about 8 minutes from kick-off here at